What's up, guys? James Carter TV here for yet another one of my 2016 NFL Draft Scouting Reports, and today we are looking at Notre Dame offensive tackle Ronnie Stanley. Now, when you look at Ronnie Stanley, this is a guy that's been projected as a top 10 pick in this upcoming 2016 NFL Draft, and I believe justifiably so. I really like Ronnie Stanley as a prospect. And when you talk about the number one offensive tackle, people want to talk about Laremy Tunsil, and I agree, but man, I think Ronnie Stanley is closer than some people think he is. And if we go further on to the process, specifically the combine, and I like what I see from Ronnie Stanley more than Laremy Tunsil, I'm prepared to move Laremy Tunsil down or Ronnie Stanley up, and I wouldn't be surprised when come draft day, Ronnie Stanley is my number one offensive tackle coming into this 2016 NFL Draft. But we'll be looking at his strengths today, his weaknesses, his pro comparison, and all this information will be down in the description box below. So let's start with his strengths. Number one, his size and his frame. 6'5", 315 pounds. Laremy Tunsil, by the way, for comparison's sake, because I feel like comparing these two prospects is going to be very key throughout this video. And by the way, you should check out my Laremy Tunsil scouting report. Go to my channel, and it is on that channel. So anyway, 10 pounds heavier than Laremy Tunsil. And the size and frame differences here, or the frame differences, is what's key. Laremy Tunsil carries a lot of upper body weight. You can see it in his arms. You see it in his gut. Ronnie Stanley, this guy's built like a truck. Oh my God, his legs are huge. And you see this on the film, and you see him in person. I mean, this guy's calves, his thighs are thick, his ass is huge. I mean, we're talking about a big, strong, girthy man. And then this helps him tremendously in pass protection. You'll see, and this is upcoming weakness of mine, he can give up some positioning, and he will give us some positioning and pass protection, but man, this guy has good balance. This guy's like a tree. I mean, you cannot knock this guy down. I never saw this guy on the ground because he has such a big, sturdy girth and frame and just a big trunk. And this guy's not going to fall down. Great balance. You never see him on the ground. It's hard to get this guy down when he has such a strong lower body. Good luck moving this guy. Number two, athleticism. Good athleticism, good quick feet. Saw him be very influential in the screen game for Notre Dame, protecting for CJ Prosise and their assortment of running backs and wide receivers over there. So you can see him move out in the screen game, do a good job. He pulled every now and then. During his kick slide, when in pass protection, he has a good quick feet during this kick slide. So I like his athleticism for his size. I don't know what he's going to run at the combine. I say maybe a 5.1. Not particularly fast, but good for offensive lineman, good for offensive tackle. Next, we have pass and run blocking. Now, this is something that's been a little bit controversial. Some people really believe that Laremy Tunsil is the better run blocker. I don't. I think Ronnie Stanley's the better run blocker right now. Laremy Tunsil hasn't beaten pass protection, but in terms of the combination of pass blocking and run blocking, I like Ronnie Stanley's run blocking more than Laremy Tunsil's. Well, I like Laremy Tunsil's pass blocking way more than Ronnie Stanley's. So they're close there, but it's closer than some people think. And I really like, I talked about in my Laremy Tunsil scouting report, was that run blocking is not something that you can just fix. You kind of just have it or you don't. And I see Laremy Tunsil just being a lockdown left tackle in pass protection, but not being a mover in the run game. I see more potential of Ronnie Stanley being a mover in the run game, being a mauler, which is absolutely the antithesis of what some people see, and I can't believe this. I mean, because I like to compare my scouting reports with other people's before I do my official video, just in case I'm crazy, and maybe I'm crazy, but this is what I see. I really want to see during the combine what these guys do in terms of hitting these certain objects, these equipment, in terms of bench press, in terms of the absolute power that they display during the combine for me to get a better sense. But I think Ronnie Stanley has some damn good power and athleticism in the run game, unlike some other people. So you may go to some other scouting reports and see different, but this is what I see. And I'll link some plays, that way you guys can see what I'm seeing. All right, next we have instinctiveness and awareness. Oh, and by the way, with the power thing, because this is an issue. People say Ronnie Stanley doesn't have power, This guy put Shaq Lawson on his ass. Shaq Lawson and Ronnie Stanley had a hell of a bout, and he put Shaq Lawson on his ass one play. So I don't want to hear that Ronnie Stanley doesn't have power. I think he has plenty of power, believe believe you me. All right, next we have instinctiveness and awareness. Multiple times I saw edge rushers come a little late, and Ronnie Stanley picked them up absolutely well in pass protection. Good to have that instinctiveness and that awareness to pick those things up. Being as young as he is, this is something that a lot of young tackles struggle with coming into the NFL. This is not an issue with Ronnie Stanley. He already comes very aware, very instinctive. This is just innate and natural for him. I talked about, if you ever watch The Blind Side, this is something they talk about, like these protective instincts. He has those. All right, next we have good balance. Again, those big, thick, oh my God, those thick legs. And I know I sound so weird, but man, go look at this guy. I mean, it's so weird how his body's set up, but man, it works. I mean, his upper body is not very big at all, but his legs, wow, I want to know what he squats. All right, next we have upside. Again, with these measurables, with the strength that I've been talking about, with those thick legs, comes a bit of upside. I mean, there's still some issues, and I'll get into those in a second, but if you can give him some technique and touch him up a little bit, we're talking about a potentially elite player at the NFL level. Next, we have weaknesses. He gives up way too much positioning and pass protection. Now, I think it's because his upper body isn't that strong. I think his lower body is very strong. So initially, whenever we're talking about guys getting an initial push, people get initial push with him just based on upper body strength. But once he can set in with those feet, set in, boom, he's not moving. So initially, he'll give up position, and it can get annoying. Now, it's not a big deal if you're not giving up sacks. But when we're talking about, are you an elite prospect? I mean, if we're talking about, are you good? Okay, you can get away with this and be good. Are you elite? If you're elite, I don't want you giving up as much position as he gives. I don't want you backing up near the quarterback's pocket. I want my quarterback to have a clean pocket to throw the football. So this is a very small thing, but it is a concern when we're talking about, are you better than Laremy Tunsil, who's very good at this, who doesn't even come close to his quarterback, doesn't give up almost any positioning at all. This is something that you need to watch. All right, next we have struggles against elite pass rushing moves. This is the biggest contest again, him versus Shaq Lawson. And I saw Shaq Lawson beat him twice with elite pass rushing moves. Moves that Ronnie Stanley probably wasn't expecting because he probably didn't have to go up against moves like this all season, all college career. And it was an inside spin and an outside spin move. Once, inside spin, the first one, Ronnie Stanley got beat. And he had to tackle Shaq Lawson because he was like, oh shit, I got beat. I got to tackle this guy. He's about to sack my quarterback. Oh, wait, I got a holding flag. Second time, got beat again. This was an outside spin move. Maybe it was inside, actually. But anyway, another spin move. Got beat, lost positioning, ran into his quarterback. Quarterback actually escaped from the pocket, but this was, so he didn't give up a sack, but it was interesting to see that, okay, against these elite pass rushing moves, he can have trouble. So initially in the NFL, when he goes up against a Robert Mathis, when he goes up against these elite pass rushers, they are going to beat him with these moves. I did see, I believe, Joshua Perry of Ohio State, who's such a speed rusher, just absolutely go past him and speed past him. That was a little bit concerning as well. So I think he might have trouble initially, rookie season, with some of these good pass rushers in the NFL level. He's going to have to touch up his technique and just gain experience, really, before he can grow as a true NFL player. And that's pretty much it. So when we're talking about him versus Laremy Tunsil, I still prefer Laremy Tunsil because I know for a fact Laremy Tunsil is going to be a good player in the NFL. He's not going to give up sacks. Ronnie Stanley, there's still a chance that he just never touches up these technical issues. He always struggles against elite pass rushers. But I like him. I do. And if we go to the combine and he puts up better numbers than Laremy Tunsil, and that matters. It matters to me. If Ronnie Stanley goes, he shows more athleticism than Laremy Tunsil. He shows more power and strength than Laremy Tunsil. We're talking about, again, Ronnie Stanley has a lot of potential here. We're talking about, man, I think he might be better than Laremy Tunsil as a player in the NFL. Obviously, in college football, Laremy Tunsil is a better player. We know this. But Laremy Tunsil had injury issues, some character concerns, and I might feel safer with Ronnie Stanley being ahead of Laremy Tunsil in my big board whenever it finally comes out, which won't be until after the combine, by the way. than Laramie Tunsil. So we'll see how things develop over the upcoming weeks. But right now, I give him a grade of 86. This is a very good player in the NFL. This is top 10 at his position. This is possible Pro Bowls depending on what kind of team he is. If fans know him, vote for him. Coaches know him, vote for him. But he's going to be a very good player in the NFL. He's going to be a good franchise left tackle. You won't have to put him at right tackle. He's a left tackle. These are the only two left tackles, by the way. I still need to look more into Taylor Decker, but I think these are the only two left tackles in Ronnie Stanley and Laramie Tunsil, and I like them both. Until next time, James Carter TV. I'm out. Peace.